Anyway, Job 1:1. The Bible says, there was a man in the land of Uz. I have no idea where Uz is. Maybe somebody knows, okay? Whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. The word eschewed is an Old English word that means he hated. He hated evil. And unto him were born 7 sons and 3 daughters. And his substance was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a very great household. So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. Here's the clue that tells us Job was in the East, possibly China or India or, who knows, one of those eastern countries, at least east from where the Bible was written, or Bible references took place, so east of there would be probably one of those countries. So the messenger came in Job 1:14 and said, hey, guess what, Job? The oxen were plowing and the asses beside them, and the Sabeans fell upon them and took them away and slew all the servants, and I am the only one who survived. Job's having a bad day, okay? How many oxen did he lose? 500 yoke of oxen, probably 2 to a yoke. That means he just lost 1,000 cows. Now today, a cow, at least here in the year 2000 or so, the cow is worth about $1,000. He lost 1,000 of them. That's $1 million. That's just from the cows he lost. Then it tells us, also they took all the asses. Now that's, let's see, 500 she-asses, donkeys. I don't know what they're worth today. They wouldn't be worth nothing to me. I wouldn't want one, but some people want these things, and so they're worth several $100s apiece. So Job's having a rough time. Then another servant comes and says, by the way, the fire of God fell and burned up all your sheep and killed all the servants and consumed them, and the Chaldeans came and stole all your camels. So Job lost all of his sheep and all of his camels. He had 7,000 sheep. Lost them all. Ask a sheep farmer what a sheep is worth, but Job lost an awful lot of money here in just a few minutes. Then he said, by the way, your sons and your daughters were all killed when the house collapsed on them. The wind came, knocked the house down, and they're all dead. So to top off his great financial loss, he just lost his entire family. And he says, by the way, then of course, you read the whole story in the book of Job, how Job, the Satan was doing this to Job. But Satan went to the Lord, and after Job did not curse God, God took everything away, and then God says, okay, you can touch him, you can touch his flesh, but you can't kill him. So Satan gave Job boils from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. A boil is like the world's worst zit. Extremely painful to touch, and if you're completely covered in them, including your feet, you can't get the pressure off. No matter how you sit or stand or lay down, there's pressure on some of them someplace. One of the tortures they did in China to the Christians was they would take a red-hot pliers, dip it in the fire, stick it in the fire to get it hot, and then they would pinch the person and pull and twist a piece of skin off. And they would do it in 7 different places on their body every day, different places. You just can't find a comfortable place to lay down when you got a piece of skin pulled off by a red-hot pliers. If you read Fox's Book of Martyrs and see some of the tortures they did, it's just unreal. By the way, somebody just calculated, I just read the article yesterday, I forget when it was recently, that there probably have been more Christians killed in the last 10 years in different parts of the world than in all of human history combined. The persecution is going like crazy in other countries like Africa, India, Pakistan. They're killing Christians. Persecution is really running rampant right now, and it just hasn't reached America yet, is the only problem. So in Job chapter 2, it says that Satan gave Job boils from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. And to top it off, his wife says, why don't you just curse God and die? Why don't you give up on serving God? Now, a fella can take a lot, when he can take a financial loss, and he can, his kids can die, and he can handle that. But boy, when your wife turns against you, that's just pretty hard to handle. That's just about the last straw. You at least want your wife to be loyal. And she said, why don't you just give up serving God? And Satan has gotten many men to quit serving God because their wife said, why don't you just quit serving God? Why don't you quit going to church all the time, quit tithing? You see, so many women, they go to the preacher and say, preacher, pray for my husband. He's out at the bar every night drinking and all this, and would you pray for my husband, get him saved? So the preacher prays, and he works on the husband and gets him converted, gets the husband to church, and then the husband spends all his time at the church. Working on a bus route or driving a Sunday school bus or working in a Sunday school class. And then the wife gets mad because, well, he's never home anymore. He's always working at the church. Well, you idiot. You ought to be thankful he's at the church instead of at the bar,